on Wolf Spirit Radio, No Borders Radio, and everbeyond.info. Be prepared to leave your belief systems behind as we go beyond teachers, beyond gurus, beyond duality, ever beyond, 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 beyond. It's the 9th of February 2013. At least I think it is. Yeah, it is. That's good. I always try to say it with real conviction, and then I check. I don't know. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We've been talking for the last couple of hours. We're mining a rich seam of golden nuggets of how the reality around us has been created by the worst possible circumstances. And what we're talking about is the world manifested around you. The energy that is used is the energy through the energy of sacrifice. And it clogs up the ley lines, and it does all this stuff. And it focuses selfish intent, because here we are on a planet of free will. You can do what you like. So we've had the four types of sacrifice. Let's start with a question that came in from the chat room during the last show, which was, hang on, have I introduced you? No. Sorry, tonight my guest is Katie Gallanti, www.katiegallanti.com and cosmicessence.com and reclaimingthelight.com and Katie Gallanti and Katie Gallanti 2 on Facebook and what's your video channel on YouTube?
My video channel is Katie Cosmic Essence.
Katie Cosmic Essence. So if you throw those three words around, you're bound to find her. Welcome. Yeah. Welcome back. Welcome.
My website, you find everything, right? So yeah, carry on. Welcome. I'm here. Hey, hello.
Excellent. So, I mean, we're talking about, not the nicest subject, but it is in our face. And
it is.
There is confusion about it. It's like, why are they doing this? This is the great, why do they put this crap on the TV? What do they, what's it all about? Right. What is it about? It's bad. It's not good. You don't want to know the answer, but you got to know it. So, sorry, in order to be a fully conscious human being, you need to be conscious of what is going on behind the scenes and the magical work that is going on, that is consciously being created by event organizers who do this stuff every day in the same way as the Aztec priest, this is as Katie was describing, as the Aztec priest would sacrifice a person, rip their heart, and
every single day.
Every single day for as long as the Aztecs lived, which obviously wasn't as long as they could have lived because there weren't enough people there.
They kept sacrificing their own people.
Yeah.
We can rewrite history. History of the Aztecs. The Aztecs believed in sacrifice, and they extinguished themselves when they sacrificed themselves out of existence.
That's right.
Maybe not repeat this experiment.
Yeah, that's right. Failed. That one didn't work. Let's try another one. So, people
from other tribes.
That's right. So people believe, and it's not a matter of belief. Sacrifice is, sacrificing. Okay, I hope she doesn't mind me talking about it. But Nikki, my girlfriend, was talking on about. She's always wanted to do this, right? When you eat chicken, you think, I could kill this thing. So she actually, she's a brave woman, and she went out and she decided that she wanted to kill a duck and eat it, because anything else would be hypocrisy. So I've backed out. I say, I'm not enjoying this animal debate. I'm out there, the death toll thing. So, but anyway, but she's still there. But she went up and she went to a friend's farm, and she actually slaughtered a duck herself. And when the creature died, she felt the vacuum of it. It's like the emptiness and the void as death happens. Now, this is the moment that the chi can be what's the word, extracted.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
the 29 grams, 28 grams, whatever it is.
That's right. It was in an ounce. Isn't that interesting that a soul weighs 1 ounce?
Yep.
Which is a nice bag's worth. Anyway.
Okay, I'm going to make a tiny correction on that metaphysically.
Go ahead.
It's not, the soul is actually not on this dimension, so it's not the soul that goes out, but it's the part of the projected soul energy, and you will understand this with your Ray's background, because the soul, what does it say? That it's in meditation on a higher plane, and it's projecting down a part of itself, a part of its energy.
As a soul, I work in light, and darkness cannot touch me.
That's right. You can't, because you're on another plane. But the projected essence, right, that gives the life force, that is what gets chomped. Okay? And it chomped, literally. The dark beings are like, chomp, look, give me more life essence. Yeah.
Nom, nom, nom. Nom. You know when you want to eat a loaf of bread, you have one slice of warm bread, it's just fresh, and you have this feeling like, I could eat this whole thing. That's how they feel.
They're like, nice, full essence. Juicy.
Yeah, so I have to say that she, and she's saying that the life energy leaving, there's a sad moment. She felt the sadness of it. Right,
yeah, yeah. I understand. And just for your audience, we have a habit of turning really dark stuff into funny stuff. That doesn't mean that we don't understand the gravity of of things. I think this is our way of lightening up things a little bit, because otherwise it's very dire, right? And also, if we lighten it up, it almost doesn't contaminate, right? Like in the sense that we can talk about all of these things without bringing the energy in, right?
Yeah, because if you were scared about it, then it would turn it. So we bring the lighter side of the dark side. So Dolly was saying, I cannot kill anyone or anything on purpose, not even my sister. Very good, Dolly.
That's right. Okay, well then, in which case, talking about killing of sisters and stuff, let's take that as a cue.
Yeah, fratricide, my favourite hobby.
Okay, so the cue
you're my brother, I kill you for nothing.
Right.
I normally kill for money. Yeah, you're my brother, I kill you for nothing.
I kill you for free. Right. Well, and the list. Let's go to the list.
Oh, the list. Okay. I'll publish it back in the chat room here, because it is an awesome list of. It's like
Disclaimer. Yeah. I have not verified every single thing on this list, right? But it rings pretty true, and it's true to MO, right? Obviously, you do your own research to check that every single one of these things is true and not just a rumor, right? Because there's rumors out there as well. But the list says, it's from a website, somebody's done the homework. It's nice not to have to reinvent the wheel when somebody's already done it, right? So, website is mediaexposed.com sacrifices. The Illuminati is real and it's everywhere. It's a Tumblr. It's a Tumblr website. And JayPee later can post it, okay?
Yeah, I just posted it in the chat room, and I realised I had my mic open when I was opening the fire. Anyway, sorry about that.
That's fine. We're very cozy here with the fire and everything. It's fine. we like the homey noises.
That's right. It's lovely, isn't it?
Okay. Kanye West, apparently, it could be, right? There's all we can't say he did this, but it could be that he took out his mom to be Kanye West, right? Apparently, I actually went and, because he was the first on the list, I'm like, okay, let's go check him out, right? Then there was so many on the list, I stopped at around 3. Right, but I did check out Kanye to see what was going on with him. And apparently there's a video on YouTube that says Kanye West admits his mother was an Illuminati sacrifice. And you can find this video. And basically, this is a video of somebody that recorded Kanye West being all annoyed because he didn't win something. That was when Taylor Swift got a prize that Beyonce was supposed to get, and he got all up in arms, and he went and on stage and said that he had written Beyonce's song, and Beyonce's song was supposed to win. I don't know if you remember that. Anyway, apparently very soon after that, he was very angry and pissed off, and he was at a dinner where he pretty much said, I even had to take my own mother out to get to where I have to get to, and now they won't even give me the prize for the song, right? And somebody recorded that either on their iPhone or something while he was talking, so there's literally him saying something of the kind, right? So, again, this could all be rumor and speculation, but that's on the list, okay? Now, and if you look on the list, there are various people, and, you can't say that people did any of these things, but there's coincidences between people rising to fame and other people dying, right? So Kanye West, his mom died when he was rising to fame, and Jay-Z, his nephew, died when he was rising to fame. And apparently for Diddy, it was this Biggie Smalls dude. For Lady Gaga, Lena Morgana. Now, the Lena Morgana thing is kind of interesting because it appears that Lady Gaga did not just have a coincidental death of this person when she was rising to fame, but apparently she took on all of her identity and all of her songs as well. So apparently, who we know as Lady Gaga was very different, and then she took on, apparently the creative one was Lena Morgana, and she kind of sucked up all of it and became Lady Gaga. And there's even a piece of footage somewhere that basically says that she communicates with Lena Morgana's spirit that tells her all sorts of stuff. So that's an interesting little side story that people can follow if they want to, that has extra twists, right?
That is mega twisted. So the Illuminati sacrifice is still working for her.
It is.
How about that for eternal damnation?
Yep, it is.
Don't sign on the dotted line. I mean, is there any hope for people? Is there any salvation for the hopeless sinner who has hurt all mankind just to save their own believing?
Well, there is, and the way to do it is to do what Tupac and DMX did, that is to do the 180 and hail-tail the hell out of it. Right?
Uh-huh.
The antidote, first of all, my feeling is that the whole music industry, Hollywood, I'm not saying that music and film in general are bad things, but I'm saying that the music industry and Hollywood industry, I think, are literally created for the purpose of all of this. I think that's what they are. And so everybody that enters into this realm at a certain level has to make certain compromises, otherwise they can't even get in at all. Okay? So these are things that people have tracked, links between rises to fame and exits from the earth plane, right, of various people. You can read through the list and you can just, do your own research, check it out, check out if there's any truth to any of it, and so on. But it seems to follow the MO, okay? And what else is there to say about that? Oh yeah, let's talk about antidotes, okay? Just in general, in our own lives, because we all have our own for sale tag, right? Sometimes we're not aware of what our for sale tag is. So it's important that we become aware of what it is. Am I making sense on what I'm talking about? It's like,
Every man or woman has a price, as they say. Something that would tip them. And this is part of an ongoing conversation. Again, I'm having with my girlfriend. So that sometimes there is an offer that you just can't refuse.
Yeah.
But she's saying that we can always choose.
Well, we can, but we all have areas in which we have weakness and in which the compromise is easier to make, okay? So as part of our rising into consciousness as conscious beings, right, we have to be aware of the blind spots within ourselves within which we make compromises. And it's not bad to make a compromise. Like JayPee and I, we are good friends and we make compromises. So we talk about whatever, we decide together, do we want to do it, yes or no? And if we are in harmony, we can make a compromise about what it is that we want to do. That's a good compromise, right?
Yeah. In a way, there's several ways of looking at compromise, because you could say that it is a form of sacrifice if it means that you don't get what you want, all of what you want. However,
absolutely,
you can say, well, I can get enough of what I want to get what I need to get across, and I can give enough space for the other person to get what they want too, no matter what it is. Actually, I was having an interesting chat with Nikki last night, and I came up with a brilliant analogy. So you tell me what you were going to say, and then we'll talk about the analogy. So.
What I was going to say is, that the positive compromise, it's almost, and even that is a fine balance, right? Even between friends, it's a fine balance. You will find that in friends, you're constantly negotiating, and even in relationships, you're constantly negotiating that line of compromise, because if all of a sudden one person starts getting what they want all the time and the other person doesn't, then before you know it, there's resentment and the relationship goes out of balance. So actually having very balanced compromise is part of harmonious relating and being able to be fair and be able to be reciprocal and all of those kinds of things, right? I have a healer friend, and she's a really good friend, and we've been working together for years, literally, 15 years or so, right? And we talk on the phone almost every day, and sometimes I help her with some stuff, and sometimes she helps me with some stuff, and pretty much a balance. It's not in every conversation, we're not completely balanced in every conversation, but overall, we're balanced, right? So the friendship continues, but there are times in which there are friendships in which it becomes unbalanced, and one person is always giving, the other person is always taking, and there's not much return. After a while, those friendships start to deteriorate and go away. So compromise and the balance within compromise is very much part of how we do love, how we make sure that we stay service to others as well as service to self in a positive way. Do you know what I mean? And so on, right? But the compromises that these guys are doing are a very different kind of compromise. They're compromising your soul, your soul's path, your light, and your integrity for something that some wounded part of the self feels it needs to survive, right? And it can be love, it can be attention, it can be ego boost, it can be material possessions, it can be being considered like a sex pot to the opposite sex. It can be having one's name famous and well known. It can be all sorts of things that for some reason the self feels that it needs, right? And usually that comes from being out of touch with what is actually going on with the self in the first place, because why would we need attention, for example? Why would one need to be known and famous? Well, you would need that if underneath it there is a compromised sense of self to begin with, where you do not feel that you're enough all by yourself, and there's a wound there. And the way to fill that void, the healthy way to fill that void, is to fix the wound. So you fix the wound and you don't need that anymore. You connect to source, you get your healing that way. You learn how to find validation from inside so that you value yourself enough that you don't need everybody else to worship you. You don't need everybody else to put down the red carpet for you. You don't need the world to tell you that you're a success, because you feel a success inside of yourself as you are, because your self-worth, your self-love have already told you that, and so on, right? So what the dark side exploits for making people make compromises is these ways of filling up voids that are kind of shortcuts that bypass the inner work and that give a quick fix from the external. The thing is, the external doesn't work, and so it becomes like a drug. So you need more of it and more of it or more of it on the one side, and then you become a power addict, a success addict, an attention addict. Do you know what I mean? All of those kinds of things. And, and you keep on advancing in your quest for power and fame, right? And compromising more and more and more and more of your soul. And the other way is the M&M way, that you start doing it and you're like, this is actually not filling a damn thing. And now I'm crashing and burning in this system. And then you get the crash and burn effect of realizing that the external doesn't fix anything. In either way, it doesn't fix anything. But in one way, the person becomes addicted to the external and keeps going and going and going. And then the other way, the person crashes and burns. Very often, eventually, people crash and burn when they choose something that compromises them. Other stuff around them starts to deteriorate. Their relationships start to deteriorate. They may get the power and the fame, but they may lose other things that are important to them. And sometimes they don't even realize that that's the case, right? And so again, if you're looking at the higher level and esoteric function of the dark side in the first place, it's almost like something that forces people, if used appropriately, to expose the weakness within the self and the wound within the self, so that people can rise above it and grow beyond it, right? And somebody like DMX, for example, that did the complete 180 and then got really solid with his own faith, if you like, for using lack of a better word, because he went the religious route. He reorientated his self so that he realized that he had allowed himself to make a compromise that was bad, and reorientated himself. So that is somebody that has successfully overcome an obstacle, successfully understood that, and passed their initiation, basically, so that they could realign their will and they could reorient towards basically the right path for their own soul evolution, right? And the thing is, if you look at even bigger pictures, there's no right or wrong path. There's just longer ways to get there, longer or shorter ways to get there, right? Because most people eventually, even if it's not in one incarnation, in another incarnation, eventually all people reorient. They do, because that is just the natural way, right? Fritz Springmeier the other day posted something online, which I reposted because I liked it, and he said, let me just find it, because it was a good one. He said, I post too much stuff and now I can't find it.
He said that? He knows you that well.
That's very good. Okay. All right. He posted, he said, power will end while love goes on. This is supposed to power the power of the elite and its limitations. Don't forget, the king has only power over your head, but not over your heart. The king meaning the elite, okay? The elite have power only over your head, but not over your heart. And power can be fear-based or love-based. As I have said numerous times, and this is the piece that I liked, evil contains the seed of its own destruction. Power will fail, but love lives in eternity. Okay? Evil contains the seed of its own destruction, and it does. What we call evil is anti-life directed energy. It's anti-life. And so eventually it anti-lifes itself. Okay? Eventually, whatever is created from a service to self perspective, it almost like starts eating away at its own self, and it falls. All of the empires eventually crumble, right? All of the stuff that are built, that are just based into the temporary world, and that have as a goal the temporary world, eventually kind of are like a snake that eats its own tail, and eventually self-destruct. Most of the people that make deals of these kind, eventually the corruption starts corrupting them, and stuff happens to them that takes them down. It may not happen in just one lifetime, but over time it happens. Usually when the stuff starts taking people down, that is when people have the opportunity for a reevaluation, because it's almost like hitting the bottom with the dark side power addiction, and they can hit bottom with it, then they can evaluate, then they can reorient and move forward. Once a choice to reorient and move forward has been made, the shift can be instantaneous. It's all about the will, right? If you choose to reorient and reorient light, literally the change can be overnight, as long as I feel I'm channeling, as long as the choice to do so, it comes from a place of true light bulb awareness. Okay? If there's a true light bulb awareness of the fact that one is going down a dead end road, and a true understanding of that, in that moment one can do a U-turn in an instant. Okay? And also support is available. When a person does that, infinite support is almost there. Do you know what I mean? For the person to do that. So for any dark people that are listening, there's hope for you.
Katie is available for private readings.
Only for you turning dark souls. The other ones can stay away.
That's right. I mean, if you're really dark and you're completely hopeless, just don't bother wasting our time. Press 9 for to be redirected.
Before you jump off the 33rd floor of your banking institution, you may want to dial up Katie Gallanti.
Maybe we should have an exorcist hotline, along the lines of that other one. Anyway, I think we can think about that one. My spiritual teacher used to say, you don't get homes for retired exorcists, do you?
No.
But it was funny because in the film Repossessed, which is a Leslie Nielsen film, absolutely brilliant, which was like a spoof on all the Exorcist movies. The first scene you see is the home for retired exorcists.
You're going to have to think that sounds funny.
Yeah, it's a great film. It's one of my unsung favourites, because, I mean, Leslie Nielsen is brilliant, and he does a good job.
Yep, that's excellent. Okay, so I'm almost out of juice. What was your piece on this? I can't remember now.
Oh, well, I mean, it was on the line of compromise and what compromise goes on about, and
yeah, and you had a piece on that.
Yeah, so. Well, it was just something that came up last night, and since it's my show, I'm going to bring it out. But I thought of a great analogy for the difference between harmony and competition. Is when a family is well adjusted. And it's time to divide up the chicken.
Yeah.
Because it's fine if everybody likes a different part of the chicken. Some people like breast, some people like leg.
Yep.
Some people are vegetarian. So everybody gets, and so if there are members of the family who both like the same thing, then there's going to be conflict because you're now fighting over a shared resource. And that's where greed and that's where fear enters the picture. And
Absolutely.
conflict. So
Absolutely.
it's how do you divide up the chicken as a fair mother, or a fair father, as a fair parent, let's say, that is part of the how do we fix the world.
It absolutely is, because that's a great analogy, by the way, and
Thank you.
it is. Because even everything, in some ways, everything that can be exploited within us is actually going back to the wound, right? It's actually a wound. Because if we're without wound, we're naturally fully connected to source, we naturally have trust, we naturally have faith, we naturally have love, okay? So where does the disconnection happen? It happens very often when we're children, because this planet is dysfunctional, right? If it was functional, it would be fine, but it's dysfunctional. It's dysfunctional because there's energies here that have been running it in a dysfunctional way for a very long time. So the child is born, and the child then experiences a wound. And a wound can be even something like every time mum every time there's chicken, mum gives my piece to my brother, right? And I get none. And so I now have a chicken obsession that I have real fear about not having enough chicken. I have real fear about being left out. Having chicken is a major deal for me. I will do anything for chicken. Okay? Then when this child is an adult, let's say he becomes a music person, right? And the music people say, hey, if you come and you do this for me, and you sign this contract, I'll give you chicken forever. All the chicken that you want. Right?
You'll have a chicken to yourself every day.
That's right. Every day in your own house. It's the biggest, the best chicken, velvet. Nobody's going to touch it. You're all yours. Share it with anybody.
In Nigeria, when it's your birthday, you get a whole chicken to yourself. That's the birthday present in Nigeria. Isn't that great?
Well, maybe it's a good thing. So if instead the child had fair chicken dealing practices as a child, right? Then as an adult that doorway is closed and it cannot be exploited, right? So ultimately, just in terms of the changing the world starts with changing the way in which we raise our children. We raise them with fairness and love. We try to meet the child's needs. We try to, to do things in a way that doesn't create wounding. And if there is wounding, in a way that we also teach people how to heal, because going through life, we do get wounded, but if those wounds can get healed, then the problem goes away. And there's infinite ability to heal if you know what it is that you're supposed to, how you're supposed to do it, and how you're supposed to heal. That's right.
Because we have, we've got now an awareness of what the wounding's about. So, I've luckily been able to help my son not have to wait till his late 40s until he can figure this stuff out.
Absolutely.
And, at the age of 17, 18, he's starting to learn about, my mother's a complete, but it makes, and he sees how things are and has, a realization of it, but also has the ability to discharge it, because this is what we taught him when he was a little baby, that whenever he was in distress, we knew the signs and we let it happen. And we used to call it letting the crying out. We knew he would act up, and you could feel the energy rising. Okay, here we go. So I sat him on my lap with my arms around him, and let him kick and scream and scream and scream and scream. But he knew that that was what it was, because he was being held. I wasn't holding him tight, but I was holding him firmly, so he could breathe and everything like that. I wasn't squeezing him up. But it was enough to be held and for him to feel safe to express himself. And it's one of the things that kids do. And here's the thing. If you're a new parent, and you've got the kid in the car, and you've been out for a nice day, and the kid starts saying, and after a while you start wanting to say, shut up. But you don't, because you're a nice parent. You're a nice new age parent. You don't want to say nasty things to your children. You don't want to slap them. But what happens after a while, this energy builds up and builds up and builds up. And eventually you do give them something to cry about. And actually they're asking for it, because they are happy. They've done we're having a nice day. Everybody feels very happy that the group is together. I can now discharge. And that's what it's for. So if your children are acting up, just be authentic, respond to them authentically. Don't hold back, because they need a trigger to let the crying out. And that's my parental advice, for what it's worth.
Yep. And I think parenting in some ways is going to resolve a lot of stuff. Parenting is a good tool, right? And I have been around people. I don't have children of my own. I've been an educator and teacher, so I've been around children a lot, but I haven't had the parent hat this lifetime on my head. And but I've been around people that do, and I've been lucky to see a lot of conscious parenting, right? And it's interesting because I went through, my childhood was rocky. It had all sorts of stuff in it that was hard. And so I had to teach myself a lot of stuff, right? And had to heal from a lot of things. And but it's interesting to see how other people are doing the parenting, because it literally is, the wound happens and the wound gets healed within a couple of hours, right? So it's not, I think that it's impossible to go through life without bumps. The child will always encounter bumps, but if you can actually heal them as they're happening, then those bumps don't stick. They're just like bad weather. One day it's rainy and the next day it's sunny and it's all good.
That's right. Because these traumas build up and build up and build up, and they create more and more splits.
They do, and they attract more trauma because, if you have, one of the traumas that I had as a kid was abandonment, right? I had a bunch. There was a bunch of stuff, but one of the ones that...
Abandonment is such a huge thing. Somebody said that the human race suffers from abandonment, completely.
I had a series of things that then resulted in one big abandonment experience, and then you attract abandonment experiences. It's like you gravitate towards more abandonment experiences. Each abandonment experience then creates a wound on top of the wound on top of the wound. Before you know it, you've got this mega galactic, galaxy-size abandonment issue. Like that clusters planets to it, like a black hole. So yeah, it's good to start healing it when it becomes that big, right? It's not always that easy, but anyway. So if instead that experience could have been healed in the moment, right? Like with proper care and attention, and most of the time it's just being held and reassured while something bad is happening, right? That's really all that is needed.
It's what we call good attention.
That's right. It's like something bad is happening, you comfort the child, right? You comfort the child, say it's okay, tomorrow will be better, and all is good, and so on. So the child gets reassured, trauma gone. But if the child is left alone with its own stuff that it doesn't have tools to cope with, then you've got this crack in the core, right? And then the foundation is shaky until you go back in with some cement and you fix it, right? So Yeah, so all of this is like dark side. Dark side exploits cracks. Okay? Those cracks in the foundation, dark side will go in and dangle a little carrot in front of them, and use that as the draw for the unhealthy compromise, right? And, and then at the same time, that is also the opportunity there's an opportunity for healing even in that, in the sense that then you follow that path and then you bottom out on that path and then you have you can do your U-turn and you can do your healing on that piece too, right? Dark side serves a purpose too, right? So there you go. All right, I think I'm all juiced out at this point.
Well, I think that's a good innings, Katie Gallanti. Thank you so much. It's been it's always been fun. It's always fun exploring the rabbit hole with your light shining on it and making it. We're making light. Yeah, we're making light. Don't give me that. We're making. Sorry, I'm having an argument with an imaginary listener here. We're not fear-mongering. We're showing things as they are, and hopefully in a humorous way, so that you can take a level of perception, step away from the reality TV show X Factor emotional levels that people are immersed in, and take a cool look at things and see what's really going on behind the apparent world that we live in. Katie, thank you once again for exploring the rabbit hole. I'll just engage the lift here so that you can return to the surface, and we can we can chat in the week and stuff.
So you can do some raise work. Right?
Yes. So what I'm going to be doing right now is, if anybody would wish to dial in, and I've just realised that I have no idea where the little dial-in thing is. I'm going to be doing live ray readings, and I'll be talking a bit about the rays until somebody comes along. So if you wish to call in, we got a new number, and I have no idea what it is. I've got a little jingle, though, but I can't find that either. So that's totally useless. Katie Gallanti, I'll not detain you anymore. You're free to go, and it's been lovely to have you around, gathered around the fire at Wolf Spirit Radio. We all love you very much, and thank you for coming.
Lots of love to you also, and goodbye till the next time. Bye.
Bye.